Welcome everybody to Resident Evil 2. We are going to be going through Leon's B scenario. Yesterday we went through Claire's A scenario. We're going to do Leon's B because Leon does exceptionally better in either scenario that he does, and B is kind of the harder one to do. We also chose this because it's the canon of the story as much as you can get. So I figured that was another reason to do so. I'm joined today, at least on this particular scenario, by Comrade Control, who I've done a couple videos of this with already, but he's actually going to be doing commentary this time, as opposed to playing. He's currently kind of spectating this on a much less optimal thing than we had before, but the commentary should be, at least when he asks a question, it should work out and be on point. But his commentary on what's happening in game might be back like 20 seconds or something if something happens.
Yes.
So I kind of talked about my early history with this game. I'm spending a lot of time with friends, kind of playing it, going through the game many, many times, especially with Game Shark, to enjoy, to just enjoy all different types of things with the game. Enjoy blasting zombies, get to know the environment. How do you remember Resident Evil? Like, when did you first play it, and what were your experiences with that?
In the midst of the
It's been a long time, but when I first played it would have been right around the time it came out.
Along with one of the
I played
other
Resident Evil 1 before this one, but
a young girl named Sherry.
I still would have been pretty young back then as well. But
However, behind their escape,
what I liked about it was,
survivor of the Raccoon City Police Department.
well, I mean, I had never really played a game that was a
Leon
survival
S. Kennedy.
horror game before. I felt like there was an actual, what's the word I'm looking for?
Breaking new ground, as it were.
Yeah.
At least for
I-
the way you had seen games being presented.
No, yeah, definitely. I really liked just the management of resources. You can't just go in and shoot and kill a bunch of zombies, and move on to the next room, and you'll have all the ammo you need. You had to really not necessarily. I mean, you can't know like what's gonna happen ahead, like further ahead in the game, but it made you be a little bit more cautious about using certain things.
So I'm kind of confused. It looked like Leon just drove up on a Jeep, but he drives up in a normal police car normally. I'm kind of confused if I was just mistaken on the visual, or if that was actually a mistake in the GameCube disc. Because I do not remember him driving up in a Jeep. Original
Yeah.
game.
I don't remember a Jeep either. Does that say Taxago? Nice.
So, kind of an interesting change, I guess. Because he definitely crashes his car when his doppelganger's in the backseat. So, great thing here that's kind of odd is clearly sees all of these guys, and he clearly chooses to shoot that one straight in the head. And he's an excellent marksman, as we'll see later, but he decides to shoot him just kind of in the body. Which is how they would treat you as a cop, but then he just instantly headshots this one, which is kind of weird.
Wait! Don't shoot!
I just always love the voice acting in this game.
We can't stay out.
No!
Head to the police station.
A very B actor. I had mentioned that in the first Resident Evil game, apparently the reason why the voices, or the voice acting was so poor, was essentially they had recorded many, many different takes of the same sentences, and what the Japanese-speaking editors were doing is they were chopping up bits and pieces of each take. So you could have been listening to 4 or 5 different sentences for each one that made it in the game, and it's just whatever sounded good to
And the
them,
whole place went
when
insane.
English was not their first language.
You're a cop.
Oh, nice. Oh, hey.
Yeah. First day on the
So
job.
perhaps that was kind of the same way.
Nice to meet you.
So yeah, just kind of doing this as a commentary type of stream.
Came to find my brother
There.
Chris.
I figured out what was going on with the cop car.
What was that?
I guess he starts out in a Jeep, and then he comes across a cop car, because we're in a cop car now.
Yeah.
Sure.
That is kind of weird, huh?
There's a gun inside.
It almost doesn't make any sense whatsoever. But, you know, whatever. I'll have to review that, because I seriously don't remember that at all. Leon's doppelganger gets destroyed here.
Yeah.
You okay?
No!
One piece.
So, unlike in Resident Evil 1, where it was undebatable. Like, Jill was just the better character. In this game, I think it's undebatable that Leon is the better character. He just gets the much better array of weapons. The shotgun is so much better than the bowgun in any capacity. He can upgrade his weapons.
Claire!
He gets...
Leon!
I'm okay.
The only thing he really doesn't get is the lockpick. But that only opens up, like, small desks, so Leon needs to find small keys, but that's a small compensation, or a small price to pay when you're thinking about what's in most of those, like custom handgun parts. And on top of that, he just has a much easier time all across the board. His gun even carries more ammo than Claire's does. Claire's only carries 13 bullets, I believe. Leon's carries a full 15.
Yeah.
I don't know how I'm supposed to go around this one, so I guess I'm just gonna take the bite. So I am much less prepared, I should say, for the B scenario, but we'll see how well we can do here. This is considerably darker. Okay, what do we got here? We have the cabin key. Oh, wow. Just run right into him, huh?
Trying to remember if the Resident Evil games were the first ones to use a like a drawn background.
Oh, the pre-rendered backgrounds.
Yeah, pre-rendered. That's what I was looking for.
They are not the first, but they are definitely the most well known for it, obviously.
Yeah.
And for good reason. They do a fantastic job with this game when it comes to those things. Just the production values in this game are stellar when you're talking about its contemporaries. And they still, you know, they aren't going to win any awards, but they still look decent, I think, even now.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So I mentioned the discordant sentence taking and like kind of pick and choosing what they wanted to put in. I'm curious if that was what they did for the second game, after they saw the fan response on the first game or not. I can't really say for sure, obviously, but it is something to kind of consider when you're talking about how the lines are delivered in this one. I do think that the voice acting is considerably better in this game, though, than the first one. Would you agree to that?
Yeah, the voice acting stuff. I do like the cheesiness, though.
Stay back! Don't come any closer! Stay back!
So that's how we get the helicopter crashing, which you see pretty prominently in the first scenario, and that plays a big part in there where you have to extinguish the fire on the roof and then blow up the wreckage. So definitely a pretty critical part. I don't know why I went back down. Oh yeah, I know why I went back down. I was expecting it to be the other side of the police building, where there would be herbs. But there is not. So instead we just have this flaming wreckage. So as I mentioned, I'm not that familiar with the B scenario, not nearly as much as I was with scenario A, even if it was with Claire. So you mentioned that you played the first Resident Evil game. Did you play the normal first game, or did you play director's cut? Like, do you remember kind of?
I think it was director's cut. I think that's what we had. But
Yeah.
if you're gonna ask me what I remember from that game, not a whole lot. I remember it taking place in a mansion.
So interestingly enough, I just noticed Leon actually doesn't have a 15-round clip. He has a 20 or an 18-round clip, which is even larger than I thought before. I am also getting blocked by crows. Thank you, video
Yep.
game. So we're going to be picking up some herbs along the way.
Smoking on that dank herb.
Always. Gotta smoke on that dank herb, man. Like, what are you even doing if you aren't?
And that's our one of one 420 jokes. There will be no more.
We're also liars.
Yes.
I don't know if you picked up on that yet. Ooh, there's our valve.
Yeah, the
Always got to be a valve in Resident Evil games. I mean,
It's
if there's no
required.
valve, what are you even doing?
the animation of the cutscenes for the character models is it hasn't aged well. Let's just say that.
For the full motion videos, correct? Is what you're referring to?
Yeah.
Or would you say the in-game? Because I think the in-games, considering this is a PlayStation 1 game, I think the in-game models look fantastic. Which is kind
No,
of
yeah, those look fine.
which is kind of indicative of the advantages of using pre-rendered backgrounds. You don't need to worry about your poly count quite as much.
Yeah.
Numerical keypad 2. So I already knew this from the previous run-through, so I'm just gonna do it. I don't know where you're supposed to learn it originally in this game, in the B scenario, but I remembered what it was, so screw that. And that, I think, is kind of one of the cool things about the early Resident Evil games, is because there wasn't a lot of random number-generated sequences, you could get away with stuff like that. Like, I know what the combination is, so just let me in it.
Yeah.
And that plays a really prominent part when you're talking about things like speedrunning in this game and others in the series. Speedrunning.
Who actually speedruns these games?
Yeah, there's a community out there for survival horror.
You just run past zombies.
Pretty much. I have made that comment before. Like, I do think that survival horror games, by and large, tend to be very cut and dry. But there is definitely a subset of people that enjoys both watching them and running them.
It's not as good as my Dark Alliance run. Where all you
Okay.
do is jump around.
We're not going in that room again. Not yet, at least. That zombie on the ground is actually still alive, but I'm not going to deal with him right now. Instead, I'm going to use my crank.
That's pretty hot.
Yeah, I think I'll save those herbs. I was debating whether I was going to use one to top off my health. So something that I didn't learn until I tried learning Resident Evil 3 for my 12-hour challenge is that I originally thought there was just fine, caution, caution, danger. But apparently, it is very possible for you to... Like, you do have an HP total in this game that gets healed. So even though it reads fine, you are legitimately still damaged.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
I had always wondered about that.
Did you, though?
Well, I mean, when I played it, Oh yeah, I kind of just assumed that fine meant I was like 100% good to go.
Wow. Ew. These crows are being super jerks.
Punch him in the face with your gun. Just use it as a weapon.
Getting close to it. Just killing them. They're being enormous jerks right now. Sweet Valve in action.
You see, if this was a good Capcom game, like Dead Rising, you'd be able to interact with the environment. And, I don't know.
If this was Dead Rising, though, you would be unable to beat bosses because they would just not take any damage.
Yeah. And the fire effects on that helicopter back there would look even worse.
So as you can see, one of the main things that makes Leon quite powerful is the fact that he gets a lot of shotgun shells. And shotgun is a way better weapon than bowgun, both in terms of damage and effectiveness. The reason why bowgun isn't so hot is its damage isn't that good. It can't pop off zombies' heads like the shotgun can, and it can't knock enemies down or stun them like the shotgun can. We're introduced to Mr. X here, who's essentially a old version Tyrant. Remodeled version. And there are quite a few of them, you could see. Okay. Hello, Mr. X. I can't open this door. Alright, so we're gonna juke him, I think, hopefully. Hopefully? Alright, good. So you can actually shoot the shit out of him, but I don't think I'm gonna do that. Because quite frankly, I don't have the shotgun. And I'm not 100% sure. Like, I thought you originally went to the gun shop in Scenario B as well, but I did not. Which means that I'm probably going to get it in the STARS office only for the shotgun.
Nah. I'm not too familiar with this scenario myself.
And we've already looked at the secretary's diary. She's just like, hey, the chief's a huge creepy guy. Does a lot of creepy stuff. Why's he gotta be so creepy? Why am I working for this creepy dude? And so on and so forth. So the first thing you do is you dump the knife into the nether realm that is your item box, and you never look at it again.
Knife is actually the secret to a faster speedrun.
So I don't even have the shotgun yet, and I already have like 20 rounds for it or something. So there's like, I have 6 or 14 rounds, but there's an overabundance of ammo for the shotgun that you will not see for the bowgun, nor will you see for effectiveness of any of Claire's guns.
One of the things I also liked about the Resident Evil games was the idea of having a finite amount of saves available. I mean, you're most likely going to come across an ink ribbon for every save room, but
I think that's kind of a half-truth. I spoke about it at length in every single one of the games that I played during this marathon, which is, this will be the third one. I played 1 and 2. Or sorry, 1 and 3, and then I'm going to finish up 2 here. But I think one of the main problems that emerged in the original Resident Evil games was, okay, I understand they want inventory management, right?
Yeah.
But here's the thing, like, if I'm just going to constantly save my game with the ink ribbon, but then put it back in the chest, wouldn't it make more sense for them to just have it like as a static item count in your inventory? Because otherwise it takes up a spot in your inventory and you're just going to put it back in the chest immediately afterward. So you might say, like, what's the point, or what's the difference? Like, you're just going to put it back in the chest, you put it back in the chest, what's the big deal? Well, what about when I restart my game? Like, let's say I die and I reload. I might just forget that I had the ink ribbons in there, and then forget to put them away, and now all of a sudden I'm carrying them around for no reason. And it's just kind of a bit of frustration that I don't think should be in the games. But I do think that limiting your saves is a good mechanic. It's just, I feel like it should have been a counter outside of your normal inventory.
No, yeah, I agree with that.
Alright. So we got a sweet shotgun here. And we will be using the, we will be using the handgun for some time after this, but I get the feeling I'm not going to use it as much as Claire. Claire, I was using the handgun quite a bit just because of how kind of lackluster her weapons are in general. As you can see, we are immediately using the unicorn medal too, which was up in the STARS office before. So we're getting the precinct key quite a bit earlier than normal. What were you gonna say?
I was just gonna say, Claire's that way just because she's the harder route, and they do that on purpose. Because I have a little conspiracy theory.
Let's hear your conspiracy.
So
Paint
Claire's
it for
gonna-
me, as
Claire's
Bob
gonna-
Ross would.
Claire's gonna appeal to the very rare female gamer, and the very rare female gamer probably doesn't play too many video games, so they make the Claire route harder to discourage women from playing games even more.
Masterful.
And they do this because patriarchy.
You broke the code, apparently.
I broke the conditioning.
Do I want to take the upstairs, or do I want to go downstairs first? I think I want to go in here, because it's, electronically locked. Well, fuck me then, I guess. Guess we're going upstairs. And the funny part is I thought I remembered there being like a key card or something on this edge counter, or a first aid spray, but I guess I'm just remembering a different game. I think maybe that was Resident Evil 3 or something. Because it wasn't in Scenario 1 or 2. Although in Scenario 1 I think it was bullets. Some other kind of useless item.
On the front desk there?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's bullets, if I remember correctly.
Okay, so everything here's locked. Shit's locked. Pretty famous and consistent quote that I think is hilarious and true. I got it from Two Best Friends Play, where it's just most survival horror games might as well be called Shit's Locked the Game, because holy fuck are there a lot of locked doors. A lot of times, doors you can never open. Alright, so we're gonna start.
I mean, why can't you kick the door down?
No. That's why.
There's always gotta be that bit of text explaining that, too. It's like, well, the door appears to be barred on the other side. It's like, how do you even know that?
Yeah, that is kind of one of the constant issues, you know, why don't they just breach the door or something like that? Yeah, yeah. Because shut up. That's why.
One game that I don't think was really all that popular that I remember kind of liking was Resident Evil Outbreak.
That would be the PlayStation 2 one that had online capabilities, correct?
Yeah. I never messed with the online stuff, but I liked the idea of having the ability to change or switch. Oh my god. Pick all sorts of different characters that had little special techniques or different traits.
And they could vastly change the game based on your actions in there. Just different ways of approaching situations. I thought it was an interesting idea. Watching my friend Helix play it, it really... I don't know, I'm not sure it came together as well as they had hoped.
No, poor execution, I think, is... I think
The
it's
hallmark of that game.
Yeah. I remember, if I remember correctly, there was a sort of like work together mechanic where you had to sort of get the NPCs, the people that you didn't play as, whatever character you didn't pick. If I remember correctly, you had to get them to do something for you. Like there was one chick that could pick locks. Shit like that. And I remember that not working out that well.
So controlling the NPCs being the issue.
Yeah.
And we have the rubies and the boobies puzzle. As I mentioned previously, that's how I always remembered this puzzle. It's just, there's a huge place where you put an enormous, comically sized ruby in the chest area of these statues. Oh, what's up, Liquor? This is what I mean, like... Lickers who would be extremely dangerous in Claire's case, unless you had the shotgun shells to be able to deal with them, are just jokes for Leon. He just doesn't give a shit. So you mentioned that you had played Resident Evil 1 before this game. Did you play them in close proximity to one another, or was there, you know... Did you kind of play them as they came out?
It's probably close proximity. I mean, like I remember playing the Resident Evil games when I was a little bit older. So, I remember playing the first one around, maybe I was 7 or 8. And around that time, I think Resident Evil 2 and 3 were both out. I definitely played Resident Evil 2 the most, though. And unfortunately, I only had a demo disc for Resident Evil 3. Which was pretty shitty.
So shit's unlocked.
I just remember it being like a small portion of Resident Evil 3.
For which? Oh, the demo.
Yeah.
So,
You run into
kind of compare and
what's-his-face.
yeah, the Nemesis, and then it kind of ends at the police station, I'm guessing.
Yeah, exactly.
So I guess I could ask this question then, because I kind of talked about it at length when I was playing through the first scenario here. How would you compare and contrast the first two games, like coming from one to the other? Like, what were your impressions of it? Or did you really have any kind of take on it?
I felt like the second game opened up a little bit more. I mean, it still mostly takes place inside of the police department, but If I remember correctly, the first game took place solely in the mansion, and then
And the outside Garrett house, but yeah, the mansion grounds in general. That's correct. Oh man, eat shit, Leon. Hit the ground.
but really, I don't really think that the two games are all that different. I mean, this is one hell of a police department.
We mentioned it was a former museum was kind of one of the covers for it.
Yeah, that's the only way you could get away with it.
Yeah, with all this kind of obscure shit being around here. I still think it's a bit odd that you could somehow justify all the crazy, like, hidden shit in here, though. Seems a bit weird. But I guess they just had to hide things away and secret them. Like, why is the Bishop plug in here? That was just a maintenance worker that had a special key set to get into a place to open up things. And yet it's hidden in the police station behind this crazy-ass bookcase puzzle.
Yeah.
It's kind of odd.
Like, it made sense with the mansion, since I believe the guy or the scientist who owned it, like, was obsessed with puzzles and shit.
Yeah, just eccentric billionaire. That's how you can kind of
Yeah, you
explain
don't.
that away. And then
don't even
and then Silent Hill gets the free pass, like the freest of the free passes. It's magic, you know. It's like,
magic,
fuck you,
yeah.
it's magic. Literal magic too, like not like, oh, it's magic. No, it's literally fucking demon, evil spirit power magic. Deal with it.
Well, to be fair, we are talking about a game where, zombies and big scary Mr. X exists.
Yeah.
This is just a room with gears laying all over the place.
Yeah, it's the clock tower. Unfortunately, I don't have the crank to be able to do what I need to do there yet, but I wanted to go over there in case I could use my key. Because one of the big parts about playing this game casually, and I'm sure you would agree, is that you want to try to get rid of your keys as much as you can, just because they take up that inventory slot that's so critical. So, if you ever get the opportunity to search an extra room, even if there's nothing in it, just to get rid of the key is sometimes very worth it.
Definitely.
Desk is locked, small key. And here's our handgun parts. So now we have a death machine. So the sweet thing about the custom handgun is it shoots 3-round bursts, and it is pretty crazy. It actually makes the handgun not complete shit.
Hey, wait.
So. I love how children constantly outrun adults in survival horror games. It's like, are you fucking kidding me? You have like 3 times the stride of the small kids. Just tackle them or something.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Or just beat them, you know.
I love
Punching
beating children.
kids. Just pistol whip them, Leon.
Yeah.
Check out the boob touch that Leon does constantly to Claire all the time.
Yeah. Have you
pretty
seen a little
hot.
girl
Just
there?
reaches out towards it.
Yeah, you just missed her. Who is she?
I don't know. But it's too dangerous for her to stay
Let
here
Muncher.
alone. Leon, I'll go look for her. You go and find us a way out of here.
Of course. But before I forget, here's a radio. That way we can keep in touch if something comes up.
I'll go
Alright.
look for her. You go and find us a way out of here.
So let's see here. So I mean, already we're considerably safer than we were with Claire, which is partially due to me needing to get acclimatized to Resident Evil again with Claire. But we have a custom handgun, we have a bunch of shotgun shells. You know. Like, look at this shit, just brrrr. Hey, eat shit, zombies. Oh, what's wrong?
And then
See, once again, doing the check, seeing if your auto-aim aims at anything or not. Valuable tool in this game.
Pretty sure Resident Evil 4 was the superior game since you could actually see where you were aiming.
See, I really need to revisit Resident Evil 4, honestly, because thing is I constantly wonder just how... Because they clearly started to go more action with the third game, and they were pretty much well set into the action genre by 4. But I kind of need to revisit it to see if I felt like there was any real survival horror aspects to that game coming into it, because I've always felt like things like ammo starvation, feeling like you might not have enough resources for a given situation, like just general feelings of being uneasy are extremely important for creating those feelings. But I don't know if RE4 ever really did that, except when you were fighting bosses. I mean, it seemed like a lot of the time when I would watch people play it, they'd just get frustrated more than anything else, more than actually inspiring horror or terror.
No, yeah. As far as, like, conservation of items or ammo or anything like that, like, as far as items went, the only thing you really had to worry about was whether or not you had enough ammo, which was not hard to keep a hold of, and whether or not you had enough food to stay alive for, like, the boss fights. The game was considerably easier, I think, and focused more, as far as the horror aspect goes, it focused more on creepy enemies. Sound was also
Do you think tension-filled scenes were created with the chase or like mob sequences, like in the village in 4? So I do think that those were effective in creating that atmosphere. But for the most part, you just felt so very well prepared in the game that it was hard to feel in danger necessarily.
yeah.
Also, the fact that they segmented it into levels more than a overall big area, I think, kind of hurt the game in that regard. Because there's a huge release of tension whenever you enter a new area. You're like, oh, okay, well, I'm done with that area. So I just killed 3 zombies with 1 shotgun blast. So, yeah.
Shotgun's not OP at all.
And I mean, that's what I mean, is there's just... It's just so good. Like, there's no comparison between Leon and Claire when it comes to their armaments.
They gave zombies Gatling guns, the horror was gone.
Or
Yeah,
maybe
I
it
mean-
just began. Oh no! What did they do to Resident Evil?
Yeah, I mean, I thought it was a fun game. It's just it didn't feel like survival horror.
Yeah, I think a lot of people mistake what I say when I still think that these games are good, the newer games. I don't know so much about 5 and 6 because I haven't seen enough of them, I'll be completely honest, to draw that conclusion. But even though I think 4 really skewed away from survival horror and started to push its way heavily into the action genre, I don't think it was a bad game. I think it was actually an extremely good game. It's just... that's the situation that it had to deal with. Was that it was moving into this realm where, you know, you didn't need the cinematic camera angles. You didn't want them. You wanted players to be shooting more. You wanted them to have more options. And unfortunately, once you get more options in a game, the horror starts to drop out.
Yeah, I mean, it's just the game, the series had to evolve to appeal to a broader audience.
See, this is the thing, is I hear that I hear that, I don't want to say complaint. I hear that argument a lot. But the thing is they're saying we want to introduce a new fan base to what these games are. Well, if you change what the games are to begin with, then are you really introducing it to a new audience, or are you introducing a new audience to an entirely new game?
Turbo. It's zombies. Okay. It's fucking zombies.
But I don't know. I don't think it necessarily needed to evolve.
No, I don't think so.
I thought you easily, like, let's put it this way. Let's say you kept you kept Resident Evil as your survival horror flagship series, right? Like, let's just say that's what you decide to do. What's to stop you from creating, say, a new series that has these same ideas inside of it? Or you can create a spin-off. Like, let's say, for example, they had the Outbreak games, which we mentioned, which was a very different style of game. I think it still was kind of more based around survival horror. Like, it wasn't quite an action game. It based more around puzzles and strategy of using your characters, which were kind of like resources. So resource management. So it's a lot closer to a survival horror game, but it's definitely not like your Resident Evil 1 through 3, right? So why not just make, like, a Resident Evil action series, for lack of a better term? And just have that either splinter off or just create your own series. And it really comes down to, did you want to keep the universe or not? And if they wanted to keep the universe of Resident Evil, fracture it off into a subset. I mean, I don't know. What is your kind of feeling on that? Especially coming... I think this is actually a very pertinent point for someone like you, because you've expressed that, like quite a few people, you felt like Castlevania was... You felt like it was a better game when it was a side-scroller level-by-level platformer, rather than taking the Metroidvania flow. Although you have said that you think that the Metroidvania games are good, it's just you prefer the platforming version, was what I got. So, like, how do you feel from that aspect? Like, there was obviously, like, a fracture there. There was Classicvania and Metroidvania. Do you think they should have done something similar with the Resident Evil series?
Similar to what they did with Castlevania?
Yeah. Where they had, like, a distinct change between Classicvania and, like, a Metroidvania style. And you had games in both series. Even though there was less Classicvania coming out each year, it was still being produced.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Like, do you think Resident Evil as a series could have benefited from that?
I think it would have been...
Asking the hard questions here.
I can barely think right now. I think it would have been better than just slowly changing the games into a more action-oriented game. And I guess sort of alienating people that liked the previous games. Whereas, I don't know, Castlevania games didn't really, you know, alienate Classicvania fans. It just,
That's actually a really interesting observation. That you feel like, even though they were considerably different games, you didn't feel like it... You use the word alienated. It doesn't feel like it alienates you from the series as a whole.
Well, the thing is the newer, more explore environments, Castlevanias were still very similar gameplay-wise. With Resident Evil, part of the gameplay was item management, and when you move farther away from item management, you're changing the gameplay.
Are you kidding me?
Not really.
Yeah. One of the zombies was still alive somehow. Was kind of messing with my aiming. There's a
Never
lot
played
of
Operation Raccoon City. I've heard things about it.
I've heard bad things only.
Yeah. Whoa, excuse me.
Okay, so there's another guy. Are you kidding me? God. These zombies are being super jerks right now.
And I played a little bit of Resident Evil 5 when it came out, but I mostly just watched people play it.
Same here, for the most part.
And, I gotta say, Wesker... I think they just took things a little too far. I remember, like...
What, you
touching
don't
the
think
front-
Chris should have shot steroids in his butt?
No. I think I remember, Wesker, like, dodging rockets and shit. I can't remember if it was Wesker or
But he's
Chris
only
that
got
was
5
shot.
minutes! 7 minutes, that's all he can spare. He even says it. Illuminati confirmed.
Yeah, dude. I don't know, I mean... I'm sure the newer Resident Evil games are fun, but...
They're very different games.
After Resident Evil 4, I just felt like it's, not something that's gonna appeal to me anymore. Wesker was superhero, Madman, and Veronica first. I don't remember Veronica too well. I know there's like a pile of games between the third and the fourth game. Can barely remember any of them though. Maybe there was only one or two, I can't remember.
And we're out of ammo on that gun. But we need to dump something. What do we need to dump? We're gonna dump the Magnum for now because I don't think we need that much power right now. But yeah, Code Veronica was kind of the start of the Super Wesker, for lack of a better term. Creature unbound by the rules of Mortarman.
I just want to be in a spooky house with ghosts and stuff,
Boo Haunted House.
having to manage my items.
The booest of haunted houses.
Yeah, dude. I don't
Get
want to be...
spooked.
I wonder if the series continues on, it goes as crazy as Bayonetta. Think about it.
They're just linked.
Wesker's like throwing universes at you.
All Capcom games in the same universe. It's confirmed by Marvel vs. Capcom 3. You can't make this stuff up, kids. Just literally can't.
No.
You know what? I kind of want to use the heart key over here because I think this is the only door that uses it. I really want to get rid of it. So tons of zombos in here. I killed a zombie behind me.
Yeah. Why not?
Sure, dude.
Do the gun parts cause you to curve the bullet as well? Oh wait, no, that was a shotgun.
Oh yeah.
Shotgun's just OP, I guess.
It is really stupid. Hitbox is pretty impressive on it.
I remember when I first played this game, I would use the knife to save ammo. Instead of just dodging the
How'd
zombies, I
that,
felt the need to kill all the zombies.
Say, how'd that work out for you?
It was complete garbage.
I will say this, as clunky as I felt like Silent Hill was in general, it did way better job with the melee combat than Resident Evil. Just the idea that you have to stand on a dime in Resident Evil is punishing, to say the least. And the fact that you don't stun enemies with your attacks.
Oh, yeah.
It hurts pretty bad. It's bad feels. Yeah, so
Yeah,
this is the basement corridor.
The only thing I remember about the fourth game that I completely hated, and I'm sure you probably already know what I'm going to say, is Ashley.
Yeah. That seems to
big-
be a pretty consistent point of contention for that game. Everybody hates the Ashley escort quest that's 5 hours long or whatever.
I mean, well, she's essentially there for the rest of the game. I mean, there's moments without her, but it's just... it's garbage.
Club. I really don't think I should be here.
And then you replay through Resident Evil 4, and then you get to Ashley, and you're like, oh, that's right, I gotta do this again. You proceed to pull the disc out of your PlayStation 2 and throw it in the trash, along with the PlayStation 2.
Just killed 2 dogs with 1 shotgun.
Somebody call PETA, please.
Really more of a gyro guy. Good gyros.
Gyros. I do not know Mr. Sengar.
Yeah, they're, So due to the fact that I had managed to lock off the shutters at a certain place in the previous scenario, that basement hallway did not have zombies in it.
Okay, yeah.
So, that helped out. So I don't have any handgun bullets, which kind of sucks. That's okay, because handgun isn't so hot anyway. And
No.
in general, Leon gets an exceptional amount of shotgun rounds.
So how did you feel? Because I know this upset some people. How did you feel about the later games of Resident Evil not having zombies as enemies, but rather some kind of infected villager of some sort?
You're talking
know
about the
this-
shift to Las Plagas, correct?
Yeah, for some reason this upset people.
I mean, well, let's be straight. The Resident Evil games have always been about infected people. Like, the method of infection is less important than, you know, like, they're just infected. It's just a different form of, instead of the T-virus, it's a plague. One of the things that I will say is the Plague doesn't have as strong a ties to the Umbrella Corporation, and I think a game that moves away from the Umbrella Corporation tends to feel less authentic, for lack of a better term. That being said, the Ashfords and really the people in charge of Umbrella were all crazy nut bars, so, I mean, they were into some pretty weird shit too. I think the thing that people should be more concerned about is the idea that you change the characterization of your characters. It's a terrible way to put that. The presentation of your characters. So, for example, when you do the mission in Resident Evil Revelations 2. Or no, Resident Evil 5, sorry. There's a thing where it's like it's supposed to be a huge callback to the first Resident Evil game.
Yeah.
But the thing is because... Okay, so the guy that they go to investigate, he was very much into clean science. like how science should be. But then you go into his basement, and it's filled with all types of barbaric torture shit and stuff. And it just doesn't make sense from the way they portray his character in notes and memorandums and how they portray him in the game in general. So it's just a very different feel to the character. And I think when you do something like that, it really gets on people's nerves. Because this is a character that they thought they knew, or at least they had some grasp on. And all of a sudden you're just completely changing the way they are. And I can understand why that would frustrate some people.
But it's a twist. But yeah, I agree with everything you said about the infected. It's like it's the same shit.
Same shit, different name.
Yeah, it's a little bit different, like what was said in chat. Like the zombies in the newer games, or the infected, they didn't really. Their goal wasn't necessarily to eat Leon, but rather, throw swords at him and kill him.
But the end goal is the same.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? The methodology is different, but in the end, they're still trying to kill you.
No, yeah, but I do agree with the idea that, an infected guy who is maybe under some kind of mind control is throwing some dynamite at you. Doesn't sound nearly as scary as like a horde of just like brainless, like flesh-eating zombies.
Is it? Because, I mean, when you think about it, one is definitely more dangerous than the other.
It's definitely more dangerous, but not as creepy, I think.
Creepy, sure. I can agree with that, but I think it's almost irrelevant at that point what creepy is, because you're still effectively causing an emotion that causes tension in the player. It's just a different type of tension.
No, yeah.
Like, I actually spoke... I forget who it was I spoke to about this. I think it was Talic Zealot. But when we were discussing the idea of... So Stephen King had what he called 3 avenues to create fear in the person. Which was terror, which is essentially the fear of the unknown, what you can't see, things like that. Then there's horror, which is when the actual terror is unveiled, the monster's unmasked, or the danger is known. And then he has what he calls revulsion, which is your typical gross out, for lack of a better term. The thing is... Where was I going with this? Oh, so what I was saying with him was that any game can have terror in it. That building of tension that causes fear, or that emotion of fear in you. And a lot of people won't admit to this, or they don't think so, but it is entirely true. Think about any speedrun that you've ever done. Especially when it's going well, you are terrified, like, of the unknown. Are you going to fail this run? And you get this extreme spike of horror or revulsion when you do lose it. And it's usually often followed at the same time by anger at missing something or disappointment in yourself. But that is pure fear or terror. It really is. Even if it's the most happy-go-lucky game, it could be Super Mario Brothers. But the fact is that you were put in that tense situation. Now, does that mean that Super Mario World is a survival horror game or a terror game? No.
Absolutely.
It really isn't, because that's not what it's focused on. Like, that's not what its goal is. But it can still inspire those things in you.
So does Leon just have a shotgun in his back pocket?
Mm-hmm.
How does that even
That
work?
is correct.
What the fuck?
How does it not work? Oh
I
yeah,
gotta say,
this room has fucking nothing in it. I forgot.
One thing that Resident Evil 4 did do better was put Leon in some sexy clothing. Whereas here he's just in like his I don't know, his
RPD
work
uniform.
Yeah, fuck that.
Which is really weird when you think about Leon, because
he was on the
looks
first
way-
day of his job, right?
Yeah, and he looks way different than any other cop you meet.
Yeah.
And he's
that's
not a
true.
STARS unit person or anything like that. It's just he just looks really fucking weird.
He's just that overzealous new guy. Like all geared up.
That wears shoulder pads.
Yeah. But really he's just a beat cop.
So I'm gonna
Why-
have to
why-
be back here anyway.
So
So
does he have like shoulder pads and shit?
I mean, I guess you could ask the same question about Jill, right?
Yeah, dude.
Okay, I would need the explosive to do that. Alright. So it looks like we're going first floor again. Because kind of all the other places are... I don't want to say locked off, but... I don't want to head there yet. I will say, it does feel like the second game... Actually... Huh. I need a card key for the basement. So I'm torn whether I pursue the basement and try to get the card key so I can get the side pack or not. 'Cause I really want that as soon as I can. I'm gonna push for it. I'm gonna see what I can do. So the reason I really want the side pack is it'll give me an extra 2 inventory slots, and for this scenario that is extremely beneficial. So we're gonna see if we can get that. We already unlocked the door for its power. For the power that we need to supply to it, but we need to find where the card key is. Fortunately, I almost feel like it's probably in the club over there that we don't have access to. I don't know why we went this way again, because this isn't going to lead anywhere. So here's an interesting thought. What do you think about the characters in Resident Evil 1 compared to 2? The cast as a whole. Or do you think it really even matters at all?
Well, they had more of a sense of humor. With, what's his face? I can't remember his name. Bill, maybe?
Barry?
Barry. Calling Jill a sandwich. Potentially could have been a Jill sandwich.
When I saw the uniform, I thought you were another zombie.
Basically, this game needed more,
See, this
Barry.
is weird, because
Who are you?
Ada says she's like, I thought you were one of the zombies because of your uniform. Dude, he looks nothing like any of the other cops.
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
looking for some guy named Ben. He's one of those reporter types, always looking for a scoop. I heard
Gotta
it
get
was
those
locked up in the
scoops.
cell block, only there's a
The modern age.
I've been
Printing
trying to
press.
find another way inside. If we work together, we can move this thing. Give me a hand here, will you?
Alright.
Does Capcom have a thing with, like, reporters and sexy women? Not
What a
there's anything
scoop.
wrong with
Of course.
sexy women.
Gotta get the scoop.
Gotta get the scoop. What happens if you mix all the herbs of different colors and
You get
blaze
brown.
it
You get that brown kush.
up. Oh man. If you mix 3 brown kush, do you get the dank black?
If only.
Rip.
Ada, wait!
Okay, so we have a couple things here. That place I don't think I need to go into yet.
I will. I will say this game has one serious flaw.
Only one.
It's got maybe a couple.
It's a really, really good game, but like I'm not gonna lie, it has problems. Every game has some.
But the flaw I'm talking about is kind of a glaring issue. And I'm surprised nobody else is like bothered
Let me
by it.
guess. You must be Ben, right?
And
Get
that would
out,
be the
now.
giant spiders you run into later in the game.
What do you want? I'm trying to sleep here.
Too spooky?
When you're arachnophobic, it's
this
pretty
the guy?
fucking scary.
They did a really good job on them,
You told the city officials
They-
that you knew
despite
something
having
actually-
low
about
polygon
what's been
counts.
going on, didn't you?
They're genuinely
What did you tell
terrifying.
them?
And who the heck are you?
I'm trying to find my boyfriend. His name's John. He was working for a branch office of Umbrella, based in Chicago, but he suddenly disappeared 6 months ago. I heard a rumor that he's here in the city.
I don't know anything. And even if I did, why would I want to tell you?
Okay, I say we leave him in there. Does anyone know where they put the key to this cell?
I have it right here, officer. But I'm not about to leave this cell. Those zombies aren't the only things crawling around out there.
What was that?
Like I said, I'm not leaving this cell. Get out of here before you lead it right to me.
Hey, I'm not going anywhere. I'm the only cop left
Something
alive
I
in this
noticed,
building.
and I think it started.
What?
I can't remember if they referred to them as zombies in the
If you wanna
first
live,
game,
then you're gonna have to leave with
but
me.
in the second game they definitely
Do you
refer to
even know
zombies
how to
as
get out of the
zombies.
city?
And I
There's a
just
kennel in the
wonder.
back of the building. Inside the kennel is a manhole. Go
I
through
wonder
and it'll
where
lead you to the
they got the
sewer
idea to
entrance,
even
but
call zombies
it won't
zombies.
be easy.
All right.
Not just
I'm
because of the
going.
way they act and move and such. Very classical zombies of the golden age. Well, I guess the silver age of horror.
There's a kennel in the back of the building. Inside the kennel is a manhole. Go through and it'll lead you to the
Just
sewer
bothers
entrance,
me.
but it won't be easy.
I don't know. Oh, most zombie movies wouldn't even call zombies zombies.
Alright, so... Fortunately, we don't have any room left, so we're gonna have to went back. Clear out some of this, which kind of sucks. I was hoping maybe I would get access to that card. But, yeah. Get that.
Just spray the
So
can
chances
of first aid on your body.
So chances are that first aid, or not the first aid, but the key, or chances are the card key that leads into the weapon depot so that I can get that side pack is for the club key, which I do not have. So I'm just going to clear out as much as I can. We'll see what we can do from there.
Apparently you were near a room with a chest.
Back over here. Yeah, because that side one on the left is the kennel, and that's where you have the manpool cover, but I need an extra item in order to get in there.
No.
And there's no way into the other two doors, so I'm gonna have to go back up, I think. Actually, we could go down to the bottom and use the save point down there. But I think I want to clear out the top of the police station again, just to get it to A lot of backtracking, but hey, that's Resident Evil when you don't remember it. That and it'll help me get rid of some of these keys.
Yeah, you know, you didn't have to worry about that too much in Resident Evil 4. I mean, so it's clearly a superior game.
Yeah, sure. It's exactly what made it a better game.
Okay, I see how it is.
That and knife fights. Knife fights that are extremely long and kill you instantly if you fail one press.
I don't know why you gotta be such a shitter.
Just don't miss the button press.
You got a problem with QuickTime events, man?
Just don't miss the button press on your modern TV that probably had input lag because people didn't know about that shit in the general gaming public until more recently. Fucking a lot of people still don't know about it, so...
Okay, let me put it like this.
Hold up.
QuickTime events
Speak
are
to me.
QuickTime events are more difficult than learning how to speedrun a game. Because learning how to speedrun a game, you're just doing the same thing over and over again. But with QuickTime events, you never know what the button press is going to be. So that's
Oh, man.
it's more complicated.
Except when the QuickTime event is, you know, the same button.
No, it's no.
What's up, Spooky Zombo? Got dead. Okay.
Remember when someone used an argument against me like that one time? Trying to say Binding of Isaac was the hardest speed game.
Except when, you know, you get a thing that makes you invincible.
Yeah.
It's okay. Some people are stupid. They can't be saved.
I mean,
It's a proven fact.
having a random room every time is, you know, forces you to react to it, but I mean, I don't know. It's like you said. You can just get some RNG that's, you know, godlike,
Extremely favorable.
and just blow through the game.
I really don't like that I'm going through this hall, especially since I don't necessarily need to. Not 100% sure. But we'll see. I guess I can do the rubies.
Bet you're feeling pretty dumb for putting that knife away now.
Not really.
Wish you had it when you run out of shotgun shells.
Well, I'm not gonna run out of shotgun shells. And if I am, then, well, fuck me, I guess.
You gonna stab him with a shotgun? I don't think so.
I'm just gonna blow off their fucking face.
Yeah, with no ammo.
It is pretty absurd how strong melee was in newer versions of Resident Evil, though.
Oh yeah.
Like the game went from shooting zombies in the head to shooting them in the legs to cause a stun animation,
Yep.
so you could uppercut them in their fucking faces. Very different style of gameplay.
So I think this should be
Those
the
guys.
part of the stream where we talk about how true to the video games the movie adaptations were.
If there's a number below 0, that's what I rate it. Oh wow, I didn't even see that guy. Like he was literally too dark.
Like I don't understand why The second Resident Evil movie had to have Nemesis in it, but it was only the second one. It makes no sense.
What were they, smoking crack when they made that movie? Get it together, movie makers.
Shh. I think they were thinking about money.
What are they gonna do next? Give Jill a dong? Whoa! Subscribe to my channel.
I will say though, the last one, not the last one, the second to last one that they made. I can't remember the name of it. Revelations or some shit.
The last movie or the last game?
Movie.
I don't know.
Second to last movie.
Probably terrible. I can't say
It
for
was-
sure, but actually,
was
yeah,
fucking
I could say for sure. I saw enough of the series to know where they were going with it.
Yeah, it's
And
it's pretty
yeah, where they were going was into a fire. Wow, that guy just completely beefed it on trying to fall on me. I'm a jerk.
The fucking zombie.
He just completely missed.
Yeah.
Okay, I better check the background just in case. Okay, we had already been in here. So we have both of the rubies. So I guess we can do the ruby puzzle. I don't know, I think that'll give me another plug. Alright, we're gonna pick up this herb too. I don't plan on being around here anytime soon after this.
Jesus Christ. These movies actually make money.
I know, that is terrifying, isn't it?
Yeah. Okay, it was Afterlife I was thinking of. The ending of Afterlife is fucking hilarious.
I wouldn't know.
They fight Wesker in like slow-mo. It's pretty fucking retarded.
They did that in a couple movies, I think.
Apparently the 6th movie is going to be the final one.
Sure it is.
It's coming out in 2017. And I'm sure it'll pull heavily from like the 5th or 6th game. Since I know that's the 4th Resident Evil movie borrowed quite a bit from the 5th game. Without even making sense.
Okay, there was nothing inside of this room. Let's see. See, we're pushing the Devil Horn agenda. Alright, let's go ahead and put these rubies in these boobies. Get another plug.
Hello, houseless gamer. I can't say for the 5th movie unless you mean the 5th game. I only remember the first 4 Resident Evil movies.
But did you see Degeneration? The CGI movie.
No. I'm guessing it's
It
shit.
was actually a movie,
Oh yeah?
which is a step up from the other ones.
Hey now. Watch your fucking mouth.
So any things that really like kind of stand out to you from Resident Evil 2? Like things that you will always remember type of thing, or things that always stick out in your brain that happened every playthrough?
Yeah, voice acting and probably the music. The music's basically perfect.
The musical score is quite strong in this game. I don't think the sound design itself was as strong as, say, Silent Hill. But I do think that, like, the sound effects on guns in particular sound fantastic.
I'm sorry. Were we comparing Resident Evil games to Resident Evil games, or Resident Evil games to Silent Hill games?
Really just in general.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people compare and contrast since those were the two juggernauts of the PSX.
Yeah.
Sorry, Dino Crisis, you need not apply.
Dino Crisis is the finest piece of
Of dinosaur-related media? Sure.
that might be Land Before Time though.
Like, hey, what if Resident Evil happened in Jurassic Park? Literally the story.
Yeah.
Did I use up my keys? Yes, I have used up all my keys. Except for the small key.
I just realized I have the ability to ban houseless. I should probably get on that.
So, did you ever play any of the other kind of like flagship survival horror series?
I played Luigi's Mansion.
I guess that's something.
But yeah, no, I might have played Silent Hill 3 or 4 or whatever. I don't remember.
Maybe, possibly.
It's been a while.
Outside
And-
chance.
And it would have been pretty brief. Clock Tower would have been better if your enemy wasn't Scissor Man.
Clock Tower would have been better if it was a game that had controls that didn't feel like you never really felt in control of anything in Clock Tower. That was my main concern with the game.
Oh yeah. I never played the SNES or there was a PlayStation version, wasn't there?
Correct.
Yeah. I've
Which
only
was a
seen-
different game altogether, I think.
I'd
Maybe I'm
imagine
mistaken.
so. I've only seen the SNES game.
Yeah,
I
I'm
will.
gonna keep
I
it.
will definitely ban Turbo from his own chat. Cause fuck that guy.
So really, it was just Resident Evil, and that was it, kind of.
For the most part, yeah.
Did you know that the other games existed?
Oh yeah, definitely. I just
Just
didn't
never
really
got
have
around to it?
access. I didn't really have access to them when I was younger. Unless, someone I knew owned them.
Were there any of them that you were like, that you kind of like, man, I really wish I could have played it, or ones that maybe you think about now? That
Silent Hill, mainly. 'Cause I've heard so many good things about Silent Hill. I've
I
heard
I constantly wanted to play Dino Crisis, for example, but I just never really got the opportunity to, like at any time, pretty much.
I did play a good bit of Dino Crisis.
What did you think of that game in comparison to Resident Evil?
It's a pretty funny game.
Guess that's
I
one
mean,
way
just-
of putting it.
Just the concept of it's pretty silly. Fucking dinosaurs in a horror setting. I don't know. It's kind of funny. You gotta think, man, I only play Castlevania games.
I mean, you don't even play those well.
I'm fucking done. I quit.
But I think I'm gonna leave this room. I forgot to get the manhole opener. Which always sounds like a way worse term than what the item actually is.
Yes.
Kids, if somebody asks if they want to open your manhole or not, you probably want to say no.
Don't be a pussy. Let him open your manhole.
Sure, let's go ahead and grab a blue herb.
So I've been wondering for a while, Turbo. Just how many world records do you have?
One recorded,
Uh-huh.
one actual,
One
and then I
actual.
don't know, because after
Yeah.
that it's kind of hard to tell with as many games as I play.
Oh, yeah. Sure. Hate to break it to you, but only the ones that were recorded actually count. You gotta get good runs like me. Like my 50-second run in Way of the Samurai.
It's a pretty good run.
It's pretty damn good.
Excuse me? This sucks. Yeah, I had to waste some ammo there. Because I thought there was the manhole right here. I guess not. Weird. Huh. Oh, well, I guess I wasn't supposed to go down this way. I'm an idiot. Right, well, it's 2 bullets wasted, I guess.
Okay.
Alright, you might want to look away for a minute, KK.
Please no. Oh, fuck me, dude.
They don't even crawl on the walls correctly. we have here? Anything? Really? What am I gonna need here? I don't think anything right now. Suppose I don't need my gun since I don't have any ammo for it anyway. So do you think there was anything that the first game of Resident Evil did better than the second one?
Kind of liked the setting more. Just taking place in a mansion made by a crazy scientist dude. Even though, I mean, the police department's not too different as far as the environment goes. Just, mansion made more sense.
Made more sense, or do you think it was just a better environment?
Better environment.
Okay, so we are missing one plug. Which I believe Ada should be on the other side of this door now. And now we can have Ada Gaiden.
Ada?
Pretty sweet.
I don't think I've introduced myself yet. My name's Leon. I'm with the RPD.
Love how Ada just blows him off when he introduces himself.
It's a
Yeah.
dead end.
Leon's such a putz in this game. Like, not proactive at all.
You
Everybody
think you
treats
get
him like
upstairs
shit.
through this shaft? Give me a boost. I'll go and check.
It's like, I'm the fucking police officer here with all the training, and nobody gives me any goddamn respect.
Yeah. She wants inside of your shaft. That's fucking weird, actually.
How cute. That little girl must have dropped this. I think I'll hold on to it for her.
Okay. So I have two goals in here. I believe to get the rook plug or the club key, one of the two, and to get some shotgun shells. First thing to do is to go over here, take this elevator down. This should lead to where Sherry would normally start, which has shotgun shells. Which are going to have kind of a hilarious effect. I mentioned it in the playthrough with Claire. But, okay, so Sherry throws some grenade rounds through the vent. Okay, you know, whatever. But holy shit, Ada just chucks an enormous, like, bundle of shotgun shells in a huge metal container that high through the opening. It's pretty absurd. She's just like, here, Leon, here's this 80, or not 80, but here's like this 30, 40 pound weight, and just chucks it at him.
Well, if I've learned anything about weight from Dead Rising, is that all objects are made of cotton candy. That would explain why, somebody like Chuck can just lift a lawnmower over his head.
Well, I mean, Chuck is basically the Hulk.
Well, Chuck, we determined, was Nicolas Cage,
And then there's people like Chang, the reporter, who's basically part of the Weapon X program, because holy shit, you can't even hurt her. Until you knock her through the planet. Then it kind of works out.
That fucking game.
We'll have to revisit that sometime with the co-op playthrough.
Definitely.
I think that would be pretty interesting. So what are you going to be doing on this spookiest of holidays? Or do you have any plans?
Well, sleeping most of it away pretty soon.
I get to go at work and help people work on their terrible costumes, probably.
Gross.
So I believe Ada gets a heal whenever she gets into her scenarios, so even if I take a couple bites here, it doesn't matter at all. That's making Ada a way better character also than Sherry, because she does have a gun and she moves at normal adult speed, as opposed to Sherry, who's a lot slower,
Leon,
has no weapon.
can you hear me?
Basically just sucks.
Ada, did you find anything?
Right here.
Here we go.
Pretty sure
Key?
Ada.
Sure.
Think fast. Here's one more.
Pretty sure Ada was better in the fourth game, though.
Hey, I can't reach the ventilation hole. I'm going to have to find another way around. I'll catch up with you later.
What? Ada, wait!
She really does just chuck that through.
Yep. That huge box of shotgun shells.
the girls, and I cleared the wreckage that was blocking the corridor.
Got it.
One-handed, too. And not even her dominant hand. She just fucking chucks it. She's just like, screw you, box of stuff. Okay, so before I head out, I am going to put in some of these items. That way I don't need to revisit this room, hopefully. I probably should anyway, because the next time we revisit this room, we're going to be fighting a boss. But Leon is super broken, and I'm going to have magnum rounds and shotgun, so I should be in no danger. If everything goes the way it should. Q, nothing going the way it should.
Well, I do hate to do this, but I am getting extremely tired.
I see. Alright.
So might have to ditch you.
Well, thank you, KK, for keeping us company here. We will be continuing our Resident Evil 2 playthrough. Just a moment. I'm going to take a break for water. Thank you for joining us, KK.
Yeah, no
Enjoy
problem.
your rest.
Yes, I will.